round of applause. Please join me in celebrating the founder of SK Marshall Limited and the visionary behind this initiative, the person of Mr. Olumide Ayodeji Success, BSc, MSc, NIN, CTFL, CTAL, TN. Now, I will be taking us in tonight's webinar, and we'll be looking at the concept web automation focusing on QA beginners. So can you celebrate Mr. Olumide Ayodeji Success as he begin his session?
Thank you very much, Adinoke, for that introduction. Good evening, everyone. Please, if you can hear me, kindly confirm you can. Okay,
Yes, I can
hello,
hear you, sir.
thank you. Uche, all right, Noel, thank you. All right, so good evening once again, and I believe our weekend is going on well. How's the weekend going? Anyone? How's the weekend going from your side?
Fine, fine, good. Very
Fine,
well.
sir. We
I'm
are
on
good.
transit.
Oh, I'm transit. Oh, okay. All right. So from my side, the weekend has been quite dull. It's not. I've been indoors, so no, no day party, nothing like that. So it's been quite dull from my side. Anyways, whichever way it is, just ensure you get a good rest during this weekend before you jump on the road on Monday. Okay? All right. So just as I've been introduced, my name is Olumide Ayodeji Success, and I will be the speaker in today's webinar session. But today is more of a practical thing, although I will be showing us, some of the basic things that we cannot but talk about
Don't celebrate it.
before we go ahead to look at a few things.
What
One thing, someone's mic is on. Can you please mute? Okay. So as I said earlier, we'll talk about things that we cannot but talk about before we jump into the practical aspect. And one thing I need to emphasize is that this particular session is for beginners, all right? It's for complete beginners, which means that there are certain things or advanced level that, or mid-level or advanced level that will not be talking about. So it's so that those who are just getting started can even have an idea of what test automation is, how it is like, what you need to do, and all of that in order to automate your web app or your web applications, right? So right about now, I'll be sharing my screen. I'll be sharing my slide for today. Okay. So once you're able to see it, please confirm you can, right? Okay, please, what are you currently seeing on my screen?
Yes, web automation for QA beginners.
Okay, beautiful. So that's where we want to be. Web automation for key beginners. All right. So let's start this way. I wanted to get a picture to show us before we even start this, before we start going ahead with this class. But unfortunately, I couldn't get the desired picture I would like to show you. Is anyone here who has a Q experience before? Is anyone like that who has a Q experience before? Or you are currently working as a QA? Is anyone like that? Anyone like that, please? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I have some experience as a QA engineer, QA tester, basically 2 years. Let me just say that way.
Okay. Have you interacted with any web automation tool before?
For now, I'm working on Selenium tools. I'm basically just learning it as we
Okay.
speak. So that's just it. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So where you work, um, are you were you recommended that was it recommended to you to use Selenium, or you asked to use Selenium, or you just chose to use Selenium? Lakumi, I thought you were saying something. Were you the one that just chose to use selenium, or you were told to use selenium?
No, I just found Selenium very interesting. That's why I selected it as one of my QA too. But if I see a better one, I will definitely divert.
Okay, okay, that's okay. Where when I started with selenium. Okay, so selenium is also cool. Just that it has some limitations that Cypress overcome for you more easily. So, and I think Cypress is more relatable in terms of the commands and all of that compared to Selenium. So I think that's why majority of people right now are switching to Cypress.
Oh,
Um, so guys, you
cool.
can look at the comment section. There are updates for you there, right? So today, right, I'm going to be very fast. I will try as much as possible to cover as much as I can, but I will drop a link in the comment section right now. So that I don't forget that. Just a minute. Let me get the link. Okay, so we have a playlist, all right, a Cypress test automation for beginners playlist on our YouTube channel, and it is public. That this is open for everyone to get on, to use it, to learn from it. So I'm going to drop that link here, right? Now, the reason why I'm dropping this link is because there is an installation part of Cypress. There is an explanation of different folders, and what have you, that this video has already catered for, but we might not be able to get to in this particular session. So that's why I am sharing that so we can go through. All right, so web automation for QA beginners. Now, if you are a manual QA engineer, you will get tired of, especially if you are working in an agile environment. Agile environment simply means a place where is a development methodology, right? A development framework that is being used, or let's say process, let's say methodology, or a concept, method of developing software. So if you are in an agile environment, there will be a lot of iterations, a lot of development going on every day, and there will be a lot of changes to what has been developed. So a Q engineer who is just focused on manual test will struggle over time to cope, because most of the time, especially if it is now a fast-paced environment, you will struggle to cope if you don't automate your system. So QA work can become very cumbersome, can become very, very, tedious for you to do if you don't automate your system. So now, why test automation? First thing is it gives you faster feedback, because when you automate your test, something you are going to do in hours, in minutes, you're already done. Recently I automated the system at a company where I currently work, outside SK Marshall, right? So I was automating a system. What would normally take me about a 50 minutes to do, the whole thing was done in less than a minute. In less than just selecting, I was selecting drop downs. I was selecting a list of elements, or a list of features in a drop down, about 8 of them. And for each of them, you have to go through the whole form, because it's like submitting a report. But if you are submitting a report for a particular list, let's say conduct, let's say you are reporting a staff, and then you are selecting staff conduct. Then there is another one, maybe say harassment. Then there's another one, let's say lateness. Then for each of them, you have to fill the entire form. So if I select lateness, I will fill the entire form. If I select harassment, I will fill the entire form. And I have a list of about 8 stuff like that. And the entire form is much. So for me to finish up everything, to make sure that everything works the way it should, it will take me not less than 50 minutes. But after I finish automating, in less than a minute, all the data were already done, already automated, already got my result. So that's what it can give for you. Automation can do for you. You get instant feedback. Where there are issues, you report on time. That's the first thing. So the second thing is why test automation? Of course, I test coverage. You're able to cover as much scenarios as possible, right? Without necessarily, using your manual effort to, to do that. So the only major challenge that you have with automation is when you are first automating. When you're automating, it can take a lot of time, right? It will take a lot of time for you to automate, for you to finish up with the automation. But the moment you are done with the automation, you start enjoying it. So, and another thing is consistency, right? Is reliable, is consistent. So, for human beings, there are possibility of error, right? So, because when you are doing something, you get to a point you run into errors, or you even fatigue. You can even get tired, and then you start introducing errors, right? You are unable to finish up the test. You are not consistent. But once you write the code doesn't get tired. If you are running the code 100 times, the code will keep running. So it is more consistent and it is more reliable. If there is anything you are going to do at all, it is just to most of the time just refactor your code to match, new changes that has been done by the developers. So it supports Agile and CI/CD. So like I said again, those who are working in the Agile environment, there was a company I worked previously. This company, we are working in the Agile environment and a fast pace. So every 2 weeks, we normally have new development on a weekly basis. So because we are doing new development on a weekly basis, there is a lot of, demands on the QA. You need to validate. In fact, we got to a point where we were having carryovers of, features that have been developed in the past two sprints into the current one. So there were a lot of back and forth, a lot of retesting and testing, and then we were burnt out. Yeah, everybody we became burnt out because we had a lot of things to work on, especially when you are now on a team where you are the only QA. Imagine being the only QA on a team of about 10 or 15 developers, and then you are now in a fast-paced environment. Before you know what is going on, you will burn out, and then you can even fall sick. So, but the best way to go about this is to automate when you're in an agile environment, and then we have something we call CI/CD pipeline. So we have something we call CI/CD. CI/CD means continuous integration and continuous deployment, right? So continuous integration and continuous deployment, that's what CI/CD means. So in CI/CD, is an automated, CI/CD is automated, right? So there are platforms you can use for CI/CD. Some of them are Jenkins, GitHub Actions. We have GitHub Pipeline for CI/CD. So we have DevOps. So we have a number of CI/CD tools or platforms that you can make use of. So now for the QA, there is a part. Now I'm not teaching CI/CD, so I'm not going to go deeper into it, right? But there is a part in CI/CD, right, where test comes in immediately after the build. That is the test phase. So on that test phase, it is expected to be automated, not manual. So um, so why automation? It's easier to just fit into your CI/CD process. So that's one of the reasons why test automation is really important. Now, again, it is cost effective in the long run. So although setup takes time, automation reduces repetitive manual testing and saves money over time. So over time, at the beginning, like I said earlier, it takes time to complete, writing your codes, bringing everything together, automating the whole system. It takes a lot of time to do that. But the moment you are done with that, then you start enjoying it. Then instead of you doing, now let me show you something quickly. I'm going to just use my online. I think I love this online notepad a lot. So um, let me show you something. Okay. Please, what can you see? What can you see on my screen, guys? Hello. Can you hear me?
Online notepad.
Okay. Thank you. I just want to be sure you are following and you know where I correctly am. All right. So imagine that you want to test a web app, right? Let's say a banking web app. That's what you want to test, right? So let's say an ERP system, right? Enterprise resource planning, right? So that's what you want to test. And then the functional features, right? Let's say functional requirements. The functional requirements are, let's say, a 170. Then after you finish testing, after your functional validation, functional testing, first round of test. Excuse Sorry, guys, I was having an interruption with my network. Um, so, so for after you are done testing, you tested the 170 and you realized that 70 were failing, 100 were passing. So let's say fail 70, pass let's say 100. Okay. Now you are going to report all these failed ones to your developers, and then your developers fix all of them. Then after they were fixed, you do what we call confirmation test. Some people call it retesting. Some people call it revalidation of bug fixes. You know, when I first started as a software tester, I didn't understand this word. I thought it used to be revalidation of bug, something like this, bug fixes instead of bug. So it took me a while before I realized what they were talking about. That's how bad it was for me when it were for me when I started. So and over time, now imagine someone who doesn't even cannot differentiate between a bug and bug. You know, at this particular junction today. So that's I'm just trying to tell you that as a beginner, there is it's expected that you make a lot of mistakes and you won't even know a lot of things at the beginning, but you just keep at it. Then over time, you get used to a lot of things and you are off on it. And I mean, you are right on it and doing well. So now you do a confirmation test of those 70 issues that failed, right? Now let's assume now after you have done confirmation test, right? If everything passes, let's say all these 70 passes, all the 70 passed, right? You are going to do what we call regression test. So this regression testing, you will now test the 170 again. All right. You will test the whole 170 again. That's after you have tested this guy and you realize that okay. But this is the way it is actually. The regression test will be done on the whole app. I prefer to do it on the whole app, but normally you are supposed to do regression on this 100. Okay. Now, why are you doing regression on it? It's called regression test because in the process of the developers fusing these 70 that failed, there is a possibility that their code refactoring, that is code changes in fusing this 70 would have affected, this 100. Some of this 100 um, might have been affected in one way or the other. So that's why you are doing regression test on this 100. But for me, I prefer to just go over everything again and do the 170. But normally it's supposed to be because you have just done a confirmation test on this, right? So now the ideal thing is to go and do regression test on the remaining 100. Now, but now this is where the issue is. This is where the issue lies. This is where you need automation. Imagine that you did regression test here. You are still not using automation, but you have done regression test 100, right? Now, you now realize that when you were realize that 20 out of them failed. 20 failed, right? So this 20 will be reported to the developer. Now, if this 20 failed, if this 20 failed, now how many test cases passed now? Remember, we have 170. Just remove it. So you'll be having how much now? 150 test cases passed, right? Are we on track?
Yeah.
Okay. So
Yes, sir.
150, yeah. So 150 test cases passed, right? Now, developer, you reported this guy to the developer. Developer fees everything, and then you do confirmation test again. You come back to this part. Then when you were doing confirmation test, everything passes, right? Then you come back to regression to test this 150. And when you were testing this 150, you realize that 15 failed. Now, you report the R15 again, right? Then you just realize that over time you get tired because you'll be doing regression tests over and over. And the more you are doing regression tests, the more these the numbers will be growing because the number will be growing because you are okay. For instance, you did regression on 100 before. Now, out of the 70 that you reported that were failing, 50 passed, right? So you add it to this 50, to this 100, making 150 that passed. Now, if the developer decides to, once the developer is done fusing the 20 that failed, you will need to come back to that 150 to do regression. Let's say in the process of doing that regression, 10 failed. You report that 10 that failed. Then the next regression will not be 160. So it therefore means you'll be doing the same thing over and over and over again, repetitive task. So it can get to a point where you are exhausted, fully exhausted. So that's why you need what we call automation test. That's where you need automation testing. And now imagine you are working on 3, 4, 5, 6 applications at the same time. You can just easily get tired of the whole thing. So that's why you need automation testing. Automation testing will only take your time at first when you are automating this 170. The moment you are done automating this 170, if anything fails, you just go to your script, update, and run. Simple as ABC. You just run the regression on the ones that failed, on the ones that were passing before. In less than 2 hours, you are done with what you could have done for like 4 days, 5 days. You get that? So that's just the importance of test automation. Please, if you have questions, just put them in the comment section. Once we are done with the session, we are going to take them. All right. So moving ahead, another reason it improves software quality because you are able to catch bugs earlier. Developers don't have to wait and wait and wait till you are done after 4 days or after 5 days before you are now able to tell them, oh, these are the issues I'm having. But if you are using automation, in less than an hour, you're able to give them reports and say, oh, we are having this and that. And because you are able to catch bug earlier, they are able to resolve them earlier. And then you have a better system as a result of that. So these are the things we have looked at. Why test automation? Faster feedback, high test coverage, consistent and reliable results, support agile and CI/CD, cost effective in the long run, improve software quality. Now, moving ahead right now. So, web automation for beginners, right? So, how to install Cypress. Now, the first thing you need to do is to download and install Node.js. Now, I dropped a link in the comment section. Do you see the link? If you can see it, I also pinned it. If you can see it, it's a playlist. If you can see it, can you let me know? I'm not seeing your reaction, guys. If you are making reactions, just let me know.
Yes, I can see it.
Yes.
Okay, beautiful. So you see that playlist there? I explained, I think that was done like a year ago actually. So you will see how to install Node.js, how to install VS Code Editor, how to install Cypress, you know. Then there's an explanation of every folder in Cypress, right? So that will give you a better understanding of what we are doing here. So because this is a webinar, of course, we can't go into drill down of how to install and all of that. It's going to take a lot of our time. So please just go through the videos. And if you have any question at any point, you can always reach out to us at SK Marshall, right? If you're on our what's it called? Our community, yeah, you can ask questions there. We'll be glad to answer you. Right. So you are going to set environment variables part in the environment variable on your system. You're going to create a project folder. You're going to import the folder on VS Code Editor. Of course, you are going to run Cypress installation command. You are going to see all of that in the video, actually. We start with npm init, npm install Cypress -- save -dev, then nps Cypress open and all of that. So you're going to see that. But I'm going to show us that actually very soon. Okay. Now, what are Cypress CSS selectors? Now, you see, to do web automation, there are things you need to know. This is the basics of the basics. If you don't have understanding of these ones, right, you have not get started. So this is what I will do. I'm going to share another website right now. And scroll down. I think I have a link here I want to use for us. So I'm going to copy this link, go to another tab on the laptop, on the web Chrome. So this is the site we'll be using this evening to do our web automation. Now, okay, so this site, I'm going to inspect. I'm going to click on inspect, right? So now I just inspected this guy. If you want to check what web development is, the first thing you need to do is to inspect. But before we even get to explanation of this, let me go back to that slide and show us something first so that you understand what I'm about to do now. Now we have Cypress CSS selector. So in Cypress, there are what we call CSS. CSS is called cascading style sheet. For those who are currently going through our scholarship program, software testing scholarship program, tomorrow you will be having, I think, what is that again? Anyone taking our course on the online currently on the call? What are you guys having tomorrow? Okashuka, are you on this call? Okay. I know you guys, it should probably be your web development or something, if I'm not wrong right now.
Yes, it's web development.
Web development, okay.
Yes.
Okay. So you will have a better understanding of what this CSS is tomorrow by the time you are taught by your trainer. Okay. Now, so we have CSS simply means cascading style sheet. It is called selector because you are using it to select a particular feature, a particular element on the web. Now we have the ID selector, we have the class selector, we have attribute selector, we have the contains selector, and then we have the element selector. So for all these elements, there is a selector for all of them. Now, let me go back to that website so that we can have a good understanding of what I'm about to do. Now look at this website right now. You see this school here, this input you are seeing. This input feed is an element. This one is an element. This one is an element. This is also an element. Okay. This is an element. This is an element. Everything you can see on this screen, right? They are all elements. The sign up button is an element. The logins and and is an element. You see, all of these guys, they are all elements, right? Excuse me. All of these guys are elements. So in order to be able to interact with them, for instance, now I'm interacting with it manually. I can say UI, right? Let's say University of Ibadan, right? Now I'm interacting with it. I can say class rep is Blessing Amos, right? I'm interacting with it right now manually. But what if I want to interact with it with an automation tool? That's where you need to understand that you need to locate them or select them with what they are built with. Now, let me show us something quickly. So we have, let me tell us, we have an object, okay? Let's say something is an object. A person can be an object when it comes to software development, right? A person can be an object. So let's say Blessing Amos, all right? Blessing Amos is in the code now. She is an object. Now, Blessing Amos being an object has different attributes. All right. These attributes can be Blessing Amos' age. Okay, let's even do it this way. Yeah, let's move ahead. Blessing Amos' age, Blessing Amos' gender. All right. Blessing Amos, what again?
Marital status.
Yeah, marital status. Thank you, Blessing Amos. So, Blessing Amos' marital status, Blessing Amos' state of residence. So, Blessing Amos' state of origin, Blessing Amos' address, Blessing Amos' phone number. So, whatever, everything about Blessing Amos, practically, these are attributes of Blessing Amos, right? Good. Now, all these attributes has value. So let's say Blessing Amos is just 15 years old and her gender is female, all right? And of course, her marital status, let's say singly attached. I don't know if there's anything like that.
Also single.
Singly attached. So state of residence for Blessing Amos, let's say Lagos. State of origin, let's also say Lagos. Then address, let's also say Lagos. All right. Then phone number. If you like, you can copy it, but I'm going to write today's date anyways. What's today's date is 082 24 01 2026. So you can copy it. You will reach Blessing Amos right there. All right. Moving ahead, guys. So all these are attributes and value for Blessing Amos. Blessing Amos is an object in the code, and that object has attributes, and all the attributes has value. Now, the reason why I'm explaining this is so that you understand what I'm about to do right now when I expect the web element or that website. Now, on this website right now, this school is an object. School rep is an object. Element email is an object. Password is an object. Confirm password is an object. Sign up is an object. Login is an object. Now, if I click on this, I'm going to right click right now. On my screen, you should be seeing inspect. Can you see inspect? When I click, can you see inspect? Can you see a modal coming up and then inspect?
No, it's not showing.
Not yet.
Oh, you can't see it. Okay, I think it's the meeting link stuff, Sha. So now I just inspected, and once I inspected, what can you see right now?
I think
Like
we
a
can't see it
code.
because you're not showing your full screen.
No, when you highlight it, the field.
Oh,
We are not
you are
seeing your
not,
dev tool. Yes, we
you
are
are
not
not
seeing the
seeing.
dev side. We are just seeing,
I think
yes,
they put
just
the push on the field, like
if
school.
you
There's,
If you can
yeah,
share your
there's
entire
something
screen,
that
we'll
pops
see
up.
it.
Oh, I see. I see. I see. Okay. This is what I would do. I'll just share the whole window. So let's see whether that works. I'm sharing the whole window right now. Uh, something else. Um, Let me share again. Da, 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 da. Just a moment. Okay. You're still seeing something else. All right. Uh, what are you seeing currently?
That's your browser for Chrome.
You are seeing my browser. Welcome, Uncle.
Uh,
What are you seeing currently?
the slides on your browser.
Slide. Okay. What are you seeing currently?
Yes, you can see it now. That's like the dev tool.
You can see the codes, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay. I'll group that again. Can you see the inspect button? Can you see the modal right now? I just inspected.
No,
Can you see
the inspect is
FPGA?
not coming.
That is not coming, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to share my entire screen this time. So I want you to see what I did actually. Um, what can you see currently?
Yeah. You can see our interest.
So
Yes,
after
yes.
I
You can
right
see it
click,
now.
you can see it, right? Okay,
Yes.
good.
Yes.
Now, okay, thank you. So now this is what I'm trying to explain. Now, this school, all of these guys, all of these features, they are all objects, right? See them as objects. So if I click inside this school input feed, test feed now, if I right click, you are going to see inspect, right? So if I click on this inspect, this the Chrome will just inspect this for me and I'll be able to see it. So if I hover, because you see this place that is highlighted, that is where this element is. So you see that the moment I light on, I know place my mouse or cursor on it, is highlighting it from this end as well. You see, it's highlighting it. So anywhere I go to, it's going to just highlight. So now if you want to inspect other places, you can click on this thing that looks like boss, dotted boss, an arrow. So if I click on it, I will be able to select other places that I want. So I'll be able to select other places that I want, right? You see. But now, the first thing I even want to show you, if I click on this guy, I want to go back to that school. I just click on that school. Now you will see this highlighted part in the code. So this entire code, this entire place is called DOM, Document Object Model. This entire code structure is inside a particular document. Now, if you look up here, you're going to see doc type HTML up here, right? You'll see doc type HTML. So that's where all these guys, this doc type HTML houses all this code you are seeing. So, but I'm not here to explain code. The developer training you guys tomorrow will explain code to you. Now, what I just want to explain to you is how to select web element from HTML and CSS. Now, I want to pick this again. Now, look at it. If you look at this guy, the school, this is the school, right? Can you see where I'm highlighting in the code?
Yeah, yes.
Okay, so this is the object, school, the object, school. This school has different attributes. it has a type. This type is an attribute. It has a placeholder. This placeholder is an attribute of this school. It has a class. This class is an attribute of this school, right? It has a name. This name is an attribute of this school. Now, each of these attributes has value. The type has a type of test, attribute of test. Attribute value of test. Then the placeholder attribute has what? School as its test. Now, as school as its value, rather. Now, that's what we call placeholder is this school, the school that is showing inside this feed. Now, this test box, you see that there is a school showing inside it, right? Inside there too, there is a school rep showing inside it. Here too, there is an image showing inside it. That's what we call placeholder, right? So if I change this guy to QA, I'm not sure that will reflect. QA, let's try out. Now, I just changed that guy. Do you see that has changed here? Can you see this guy?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that is placeholder. So I just changed it there and it's reflecting here. So I'm just going to change it back. I can also leave it. That's just on the front end though. That's the front end. I change it back to school. Now, if I want to, so the same thing for everything. This image too as an object. So this is the email. Let's say this image is an object. The email has a type of email, a placeholder of email, a class of all of these guys, then name of this. You see this class is what is giving it all this look we are seeing, right? But I'm not here to explain code again. I'm just trying to tell you attributes and value. You need to understand that first before you are able to now pick, a particular locator, a particular attribute or ID or class you want to use. So now let's go back to the slide. Now, on this slide, there are different ways through which you can select your locator. Through which you can select your web element. You can use ID. In this case now, this particular school now, if you check, you see that all the attributes here, there is no ID there. So no ID, none is an ID. So we can't use ID for this one. So if I come back, if you check class selector, if I go back there, you see that it has a class, right? This guy has a class. Are we on the same page?
Yeah, but it doesn't have a class name.
Yeah. So it has a class, right? Now, if I come down to here, attribute selector. Now, attribute selector can be of different ways. So attribute selector is copying the whole thing together. You are copying the attribute plus the value. Attribute plus the value all together. If you use, let's say you are using attribute plus value, that's placeholder and this code. If you put them together like this in your code, you will use it to identify this code so you can locate it. You can use that. You can also use class plus attribute. But let's just leave it here. Attribute value. You are using the attribute plus the attribute value. For the class, you can just use the class. But this doesn't have an ID. So let's move ahead. Then we have the contain selector. Contain selector, for instance, on this page, this whole page right now, we have sign up account. If I want to find out whether this sign up account is there, I can just say side dot contains. So we'll see that actually where I'm using the command. So that contain is just to tell us that wherever you find contain on this page, please highlight it for me. Please click on it. Please do something with it. So when I'm doing the automation, we will see that. So we have the element selector. All of these guys are all, web element selectors. But we now have, a selector that selects all these elements. A selector that we make use of to locate each of these elements. That element is called get. It's called get. It is through that get you are able to access all kinds of selectors. We will get there. But I need to build this foundation before we move ahead. All right. If you have questions, please drop it in the comment section. Thank you. Now, moving ahead faster, right? So we have assertions. What are assertions? Now, if assertions are used to confirm whether your test case is passed or not, they let you know whether your actual results matches your expected. So if you have a test case, inside your test case, we have what we call expected results and also have what we call actual results. Now, if you are testing manually, if, for instance, this page now, after filling the whole thing, after filling the whole thing, now there is a password. If you look at this guy, there is a password expectation, like password format that you should have. Let's assume I didn't follow that format. I just say password. You see, this is what I typed in, right? Now, if you look at it, it only means out of 5 conditions, only 2 were met, right? So, and then I'm able to now sign up. I'm able to sign up. Conditions are not met. That is failed because my expectation is that if all these guys were not met, if all these conditions are not satisfied, I should not be able to proceed to sign up. So that is failed. So the actual result will now be that, oh, I'm able to sign up. That is the actual result. But the expected result is that I should not be able to sign up. That is clear in manual test. But in automation, how do you know that, oh, my test passes or my test fails, right? That is where assertion comes in. That is exactly where assertion comes in. So assertion are of different types. These selectors are used there. They are more than these, actually. They are more than these, but these are the most popular ones. And of course, other ones, we have child elements, we have other, child selector, different kind of other selectors, right? But those ones are at the mid and advanced level for those who are willing to proceed further and further. Now, so assertions too, there are more assertions than these. I just put some down, but these are the most popular ones you are going to see. So now, if you want to confirm that something exists, you say side.get, then the locator you are getting. So most of the time, assertion is always should. You see should something. So this one says should exist, be visible, then the test, not visible. If you don't want something to be visible, right? You are saying maybe when you log in, there is a success message that should come up and say successfully login or login successful, right? You are saying the moment you click on login button and you logged in, you want to capture that test and say, oh, dot should be visible. Then you now put the test here, login successful, right? So the reason why you are doing that is you want to be sure that the system actually logged in. So how do you know that it logs in? You'll be able, because that message will only come up when you are able to log in. So you are capturing it. So if your code fails at that point, you go and check what happened. Is it that a code has broken, or the system is not working as it should again? So these are the essence. Assertions will just give you opportunity to know what is failing and what is passing. So we have different assertions, have dot text, contain text, have dot value, be empty. There are more than this, like I said. For instance, you check a check box. For instance, now, if there is a check box you checked, this one can work for it. Dot should be checked. You are checking that, oh, this check box is checked, should be disabled. For instance, now, this sign up button, you want to check whether it is disabled, right? So this kind of assertion is what you use. Should be enabled. For instance, after filling all these, feeds, you want to check whether this button is enabled, right? So all those things, assertions practically will help you to know whether your test is passing or your test is failing. On that note, let's get to the practical aspect. So before I proceed, is there any question so far? Any question from anyone? Hello, people. Can you hear me?
Yes, you're very audible.
Okay. So should I take the silence for no question? How many are we on this call right now? I think we're up to 30, right? We're up to 30 on
Yeah,
this call.
more than 30,
More
35.
than 30.
Over 30.
Over 30. Okay, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful stuff. Okay, so no question from anyone. Abi, it's like somebody is dropping something in the comment section. Let me check. Okay, no question. Okay, beautiful stuff. All right, so let's move ahead. This is where we get our hands dirty. Just show us some simple things and then we move. Right. Okay. All right. All right. All right. All right. All right. All right. Okay. Just a minute. Think Copilot is doing something right there. Okay, we are set. I think we are set. Okay. So the first thing is that
Sorry, I can't hear you again.
Yeah, I think it's muted.
Okay.
sorry guys, I didn't know I was already out of the call. Okay, please can you hear me?
Yes, yes, you're audible.
Okay, thank you, thank you. All right, I'm resharing my screen now.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Now, so now you're going to, after you have installed Cypress, right? These are the folders that will be there. One thing you need to know first, Cypress is built with JavaScript, and JavaScript dependencies, libraries, and everything, they all come from Node.js. All right. They are okay. Let me say they all come from Node, all right, or NPM. Okay, Node Package Manager. That's what it is. NPM is Node Package Manager, right? So because Cypress is built with JavaScript, Cypress gets its dependencies, its libraries, and everything from NPM. Okay, so once you have installed Node.js on your system, all right, you are going to get all these files that you are seeing. They must be there. All these files, they are all the libraries, dependencies that Cypress is running with. Let's call it the engine of Cypress. This guy here is the engine that Cypress is using to work. Now, okay, let me just do a quick explanation of these guys. But if you watch the videos, I have done a better explanation there. Now, so we have this Cypress. Under this Cypress, we have end-to-end. This end-to-end is where you put your test files. All your test files will be here practically. Then this fixture, whatever you want to do, whether you want to upload something, all your data, anything data you are using for testing will be inside these fixtures. Support, this is where you put custom commands, right? Whatever commands you want to put, this is where you put there. Maybe a custom command for login, a custom command for sign up, whatever it is. This is where you put custom commands. Now we have e2e.js. This is where you also set some other configurations. You set some configurations here. That's what the support is meant for. Then we have cypress.config.js. This is where you do override global settings. This is where you do global settings practically, right? Here is where you do global settings. Here now, I can add other things here. I can say base URL, right? Hello, it's like someone say something there. Okay, so I can set my base URL here, and if I want to do that, let me capture this URL from here. Okay. And just put it this way. Come on. So it's supposed to be inside the quotation mark like this, right? So that's base URL. I'll call it base URL. Okay, so there should be a comma. That's why that is coming up. So this is how to set your base URL. So I just set that right here. Now, this base URL is what I'll be using to access every other, if I want to, for instance, now, if I go back to this guy, you see that there is sign up at the back of this, right? If I put login, it will take me to login page. So if I want to be going to different pages, I don't need to be quoting this URL all the time. All I need to do is just to do /login/ we'll get there, sure. Now, I set this base URL here, right? So here is where you do some setup. You can also do viewport height. You can say I want it to be 900, right? You can say viewport width. I want it to be 1090. So then my comma. So no, I want it to be 1020, something like this. So this viewport is going to help me expand my Cypress runner, but we'll get there just in a moment. I'm just doing some simple setup. So now we have package. So all these ones, when you are installing your Cypress, all these ones, all your installation, this is where you are going to see them. All your dependencies and some installations that come with Cypress, you are going to see them here. Now, package.json is also part of the installation process. If you can see, this is Cypress version 15.9.0. So these are the things you will see. Now, let's get started gradually. Now, I'll come to E2E. That's end-to-end. That's what it means. end-to-end folder. Under this folder, I'll create a new file. Now I can create a new folder, but this because of this, for the purpose of this particular webinar, I'm just going to go straight to create a file. I'll call the file sign up. Sign up. Now for every file you are setting up, it's going to have .sci.js. All right. Sci means Cypress. JS means JavaScript. All right. Sci means that this CY means Cypress, and this JS means JavaScript. All right. So these are just extensions, right? Sign up.sci.js. Now, because this is for complete beginners, there are things I will not go into. Normally, I'm supposed to create folders, separate pages, elements, and all of that. But if I go into that right now, I doubt if majority of us will understand what is going on. So let's go to the very, very basics. Now, sign up.sci.js. Now, in Cypress or in proper test cases, um, in proper test case design, we have what we call test suite, and we have what we call test cases, right? So now let me show you what that is. We have test suite, then we have test cases. Who can tell me what test suite is right now? Okay, so in other words, I'll just say test suite is the let me just say let me say contains related test cases. All right. So you can define it any other way you want, but test suite practically is everything that has to do with a particular feature related together. They are in a test suite. So test cases in a test suite, you can possibly have up to 15 to 20 test cases. Okay. So test cases are just single, command you are using to test. All right. So now in Cypress now, you are going to start with test suite. Then inside the test suite, you will have test cases. All right. So let's start this way. For Cypress, to do your test suite, there's something we call describe. All right. Describe. So this is how to define your test suite. So I will say test suite for sign up page. All right. Now, after doing this, I'll put comma. You need to put comma like this. Then you need to put double parentheses, and then just at the back of these double parentheses, right? You're going to put equals to symbol, and then greater. Is it greater than or less than? This should be
Greater
less.
than.
This is greater than. Okay. So you put greater than symbol like this. Then you now put what we call curly braces like this. Then you press enter. So now this is your test suite. Inside this test suite is where you will wrap all your test cases. Every test cases you want to do, they will all be within this block. They will all be within this block here. Now, there is something I want to show us, but okay. Instead of using this function, we call this thing I wrote here is called arrow function, right? We call it arrow function. That's what it is called. Now, instead of using that arrow, all right, you can just write function like this. It will still work. Okay, it's a function. What I've written here is an arrow function. I mean, it's no longer an arrow function, but this is a described method that has a function, and this function can actually take different parameters. Parameter simply means you can put text inside there depending on what you are trying to achieve. Okay. So, excuse me, guys. All right. So now you can put function like this. You can either put arrow function or just function like this. In that case, any way you want it, it's fine. Now, the first thing I want to do is that I want to navigate to that URL. Now, remember that I put a base URL here, right? Okay. Remember I put a base URL here. It's called base. I call it base because that URL will not change. I'll always come back to this URL. So it's just base. Now, okay, sorry, let me go back to my. Now, so here, I want to access that base URL. For everything you want to access, it has to start with side dot. So Cypress, I'm saying Cypress, help me visit that URL for me. So in this case now, I will say /signup. This is what I want to do. Help me visit this URL. Okay. Cypress, help me visit this URL. This is what I'm trying to do. Now, let's see whether Cypress will go to this URL. So to run Cypress, you need to come to this. You can see this guy, this 3 dotted 9. I'll click on it. Then you come to terminal and say new terminal. Sorry, I want to see what is going on there. Okay, so the moment you click on new terminal, this terminal will come up like this. Now you can use different command, you can use different prompts, all right, or terminal. There is a PowerShell terminal, there is a Git bash terminal, there is a command prompt terminal you can make use of. So, but yeah. So now look at this particular guy, this test here. You will see that it is pointing to my QA web automation. If is this particular part, it is called part. This is what is called part. It is called a part because you navigated down to where this folder is. Now let me go to my screen, my desktop. Now this is my desktop, right? So first and foremost, this is my desktop. If you check here, you will see that it's saying C, that's the drive, users, user, desktop, right? Now, on my desktop, that is where I created this folder called QA Web Automation. Now, I navigated down there, QA Web Automation. So then I want to run, Cypress on it. Now, I'm going to say how to run Cypress. You say nps Cypress open. So when you say nps Cypress open and you click enter, Cypress will come up. Now, if you notice, the moment I click enter, down here before, it was PowerShell. Now it has changed to Node because I'm trying to call Cypress from this Node modules. This is the engine of Cypress itself. So I am saying, Cypress, please open for me. And I'm accessing it from inside these Node modules. And that is why it has changed it down here. Now it's calling it up. You see, it's showing Cypress here. So just a minute. It's going to come up. Now, it depends on, I mean, sometimes depend on your network, how good your network is. Also depend on the speed of the laptop you are using as well. But practically, it should be up within a minute. Okay. Just a minute, guys. While we are waiting for Cypress to come up. Okay, I think it's coming up already. Okay, Cypress is coming up already. Okay. Now, if you look down here, please, can you still see my screen?
Yes, yes.
Okay, if you look down here, you see something coming up, right? This is
Yeah.
Cypress. This is Cypress coming up. This is Cypress test runner. It's coming up, so let's wait for it to be fully up. Okay, Cypress is up. Now you will notice you are seeing two things here. Welcome to Cypress. You can do end-to-end test. If you want to do end-to-end test, you select this. If you want to do component testing, you select this. Now, what are the difference between these two? End-to-end test is used for your functional testing, your system testing, and this is often used by the software testers. Component testing is used for component test, isolated, programs. This is often used by the developers. So for we are software testers, so we are going to use this end-to-end test. So I'm going to click on this. Oh, okay. The base URL. Okay, I'm coming. Let me resolve that. All right. So let me go back to Cypress. I'm going to come back to this guy. And I'm going to say he to he, right? And I'm going to say do it this way. I'm going to copy this URL. I'm going to set it here. And then I put this. I think we should have resolved that now. So try again. Okay, now, so sorry, let me show you what I just did here so that you won't get confused. So what I was supposed to do was to put this base URL inside this E to E block, right? And it's not supposed to just be on its own here. That is when Cypress will be able to pick this URL up. So that's why that is not working, or probably it's supposed to be inside this guy as it has been said here before. Okay. So if I put it inside here, it will still work. So so I'm going to say Chrome. You can use Edge, you can use Electron, you can use Firefox. So these are the browsers that Cypress supports. So I'm going to pick Chrome and I'm going to continue. So Cypress is opening. Now Cypress just opened, right away. Okay. So these are the files that are inside Cypress. Now this is our sign up file. Remember we created this file the other time. So this is the file. So it's going to probably say we don't have a test inside it. So let's see what happens. Okay, so while that is going on, there's something we need to set. So at the top of this page, there is a configuration that we should put here. That configuration is, we can set it globally, but I'll put it in this test file for the purpose of this particular training. So this is how it goes, right? Okay. So you're going to say reference types, right? Then you say Cypress. So if you don't put this, your test is likely going to fail. So this should always be at the top of your test file. But you can set it up globally, and that global setup is the best way. It's recommended. So you can do this inside the cypress.config.js. But again, I will not be doing that right now. So um, I'll not be doing that right now. So let me go back to, okay, so he's saying he has an uncaught error. Okay, okay. Now, so this is what we need to do. You see this Cypress site.visit, we are going to wrap it inside a test case itself. So we are going to say, if you want to write a test case, we are going to say it, all right? So I will say visiting the site, all right? So the same thing, function, right? Just as we did it the other time. So I'm going to copy this guy and put it inside this guy, right? I'm beginning to sound like developers, guy and guy. Okay. Now, I hope he's not getting confused already. Are we still on course?
We
Hello,
are.
guy. You are still on course.
Yes, we are.
Okay.
Yes, we are.
Just a moment. Okay. Coming. Something is not adding up. Not found. Okay. All right. So let's resolve this quickly.
Maybe I don't know. Is is there any need to import that base URL?
No.
Into,
No. There's no need for importation. I'm coming. Just a moment. There's no need for importation. It's just you just have to what's it called? You just have to access it by using that slash. Do you get that?
yeah, yes, I.
Hmm. Although we can copy the whole URL and use it directly, it will go. Do you understand? I just wanted us to go through that route. Um, I just wanted us to go through that route of using the config file. So maybe because of our time, I will just copy the whole stuff and use it that way, so we don't waste time here. Okay. All right. So this is what I'm doing right now. Can you see my screen, please? Abi? Oh, no.
Your screen is down.
My screen is down. Okay.
No, I can't see your screen, sir.
Okay. Please, I'm coming. Let me just reshare. Can you see my screen now?
Yes.
Okay, so
Yes, sir.
so 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 this is what I did. I just practically copied the URL from the whole URL and put it here. Okay. So because of time, I don't want us to waste time resolving that guy. Now, the moment I put this here, you are going to see that it's already up. Can you see it?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. So what I did was just assessing the URL here. So I want to change this viewport so it can be broader or bigger. So come back to this place, then I'll copy this, right, put it here, and copy this other one, put it in the width, right? So it's running again. Okay, it's taking too much time right now. Okay, now I think it's working. Oh, it's still getting lower. Okay, we'll resolve that later. But can you see my screen right now? Can you see that we are accessing the website?
Yeah.
Okay, good. So that is how to visit the URL and able to see the website. Now, we are not the one clicking, try to, copying the URL and accessing directly on the web. It is the test automation tool that is launching, this particular URL right now, as you can see. So the next thing I'm going to do, okay. So the next thing I'm going to do right now, I will go to this website normally on my laptop, and we'll start inspecting and start assessing these sites. I mean the elements. So the first thing you want to do is to inspect. So the only thing we are going to be doing here today is just sign up. All right, we are just going to do sign up. So I'm going to inspect this school. Now, if I inspect this school, it's coming up. Inspection is coming up. So remember, I taught us objects having attributes and attributes having values, right? So this particular school now, I want to locate it with the name. So the name attribute. So if I copy this name, I'm copying both name equals to school. So I press Control F, that's Control Find. So now, for you to make use of that name school, you need to do what we call square brackets like this. I hope you are seeing my screen well.
Yes, very well.
If you look inside, this is where I am currently, this feed, this search bar, something like search bars here, you will realize that I I, I just inserted two, characters. The first one is called open square brackets. The second one is called close square brackets. So I'm going to copy this name school, and paste it inside. Now, the moment I paste this guy, you can see that it's picking up this school. You can see that it's picking up this school. So now there's something you need to wash. If you look right here, can you see my mouse? Please, guys, can you see my mouse?
Yes, we can see it.
Now, if you look right here, you see one of one. Can you see one of one?
Yes, very well.
Yeah. So this one of one simply means this element I selected is only matching one element in this part, in this page, on this page. So it is matching one element on this page. Any locator you are selecting, it has to match one element. If it doesn't match one element, your Cypress will not be able to pick it. Cypress will be confused. Which one should I go for? So it has to be one of one at all time. Now, if I enter it, it's matching what I want, and it is one of one. So I will copy this guy. Now I'll go back to my automation code. Inside this automation code, I will say side.get, right? Then this what you always need to do, side.get. Okay, I think I got the reason why that wasn't working the other time. Coming. But we'll get there, Sha. Let's continue with this because of time. So now I put this locator. I say side.get. The first thing you need to do is to put hyphen like this, right? Once you put it, you are going to now copy and paste it inside it. So I'm saying Cypress, get this locator for me. That's what this means. Cypress, go to the DOM. After you have launched this website for me, then go to that DOM, search everything. Anywhere you see this, get it. Do we understand that? Then I'll say side.get, all right? Get this element. I'll now say, normally, if you are doing manual test, what is the thing you would like to do on this place in this feed? What will you normally do? You want to sign up.
Confirm that you can take data.
Okay, so I want an English word. What will you do? What will you do inside this school now? What will you do?
It's an input field, so
What will you now do with the input field?
you would type in.
Thank you. Type. I want to type the name of my school, and I said I graduated from University of Lagos, right? This is my school name. So now I just put this here. That is typing. In Cypress, it's not far-fetched. You can say sci.type. So what did I want to type inside? University of Lagos. Are we clear? Are we good?
Yeah, very well, very well.
Now, if you go to my Cypress right now, you will see that it has typed it in University of Lagos. Now we see that. Okay, I think I need to
Yes.
touch this thing. It's looking horrible. Please let me get the standard viewport. Okay, so let me go to my side.config and change it. So viewport width, let me change this to, let's say 1000, and then let's change this to okay. Um okay. Viewport height. Let's change this to 180. Then let's say
Or is it possible to leave the height optional?
no. It's not going to look good. So let's do it this way. Okay. Now let's go back. Let's see what happens this time. I want you to full this screen so that to feed up the screen so we can see it more clearly. Beautiful. Can we see it better now?
It's better.
Okay. Now you can see this sign up page in this school, right? Let me try to expand it a little bit. Oops. Okay. So now, as you can see, you see that University of Lagos have been typed in. So that's what the automation code will practically do for you right there. Okay. So now I'll go back to my test file and I will say, normally you should put this this semicolon. So putting this guy is, you are saying this is the end of this particular line of code. That's what it means. So this is the end of this line of code. This is the end of this line of code. Now, if you notice that this thing is running automatically by itself, right? I don't want it to run automatically by itself. If I make changes, it will run by itself. If I make changes, it keeps running. I don't want it that way. So what do? I'll come here. I will say wash for 5 changes. I will say false. I think it should be here like this. So let's see whether that works. Oh, I'm coming. Okay.
I think the false should not be a string.
I'm going to look at that right now. This gonna take some water. Okay. So I'll make it true actually. No, it's supposed to be working now. Okay. No, something's definitely not right here. So now we are supposed to have it under this particular section. Watch for 5 changes should be here, but I'll find out why that is not working later. So let's move ahead. I just typed into the University of Lagos, right? So I'm going to go back to our web page. And on this web page, I'm going to just inspect the second one. The same thing I did the other time, I'm going to do again by just copying the name. Okay. Okay, this time I'm just going to copy type of text. There are other things we can use. We can use this input. We can use this label, then input, then type of text. But I'll just go ahead and copy type text equals to text. So I'm going to do Control F again. That's Control Find, and then put my square brackets and paste this in. So the moment I do that, you will see it's saying my 2 of 2. Now look at it. It's saying 1 of 2. If you look down here, you're going to see 1 of 2. Can you see that?
Yes.
Hello, can you, so it means that what we just pick is not enough to. It's not unique. It has to be unique. It has to be specific. So this particular element is speaking 2 things. So if we use this, Cypress is not going to work. It's not going to find it. So because of that, what we are going to do is to find something else that we can use. So what if I say input? It's still saying 1 of 2, right? So I can go a little bit further I will remove this guy and say input, okay, placeholder equals to school rep. Now, once I do this, you can see it's now showing 1 of 1. So what I've just done here is that I picked this placeholder school rep, and then I put the input at the back, and you have just 1 element matching. So now this will work with the second, input feed. So if I go back to my Cypress right now, I'll just type sci.get, get this web element for me. This locator for me. Then what are we doing inside it? What are we doing inside there?
Typing.
We are typing. So because we are typing, I'm just going to say site.get the input feed, then type for me. So here I'm going to say, what's your name, please? This person has been responding. What's your name?
Oh, my name is Freeman.
Okay, Freeman. Okay. So Freeman is our class rep right there. So now I will continue. I will say site.get. Okay. So site.get, right? Now the next one is, let me go back to that page. Oh, sorry, not here. So the next one is email, right? So I will inspect the email. And if you look at it, we have a type of email, right? So I'm just going to copy all of this, and I'm going to paste email right inside here. So you can see match 1 of 1 is matching. So I'll pick the whole thing like this, come back to my Cypress code editor, and then I put type because I'm still typing email. So in this case, I'm going to say Freeman at yopmail.com. So this is a test mail. You can always make use of this for your test. So don't make use of your Gmail or your personal mail to be doing testing. You can make use of this guy, right? So the next thing I'm going to do is site.get again. So this time, what I want to do is that I want to type in my password, right? So I'm going to click here, and I can see a type of password, right? So the same thing, just do the same thing for everything to get all the web elements. So here, I'm going to put that here, and you can see it's saying, okay, so this time it's saying 1 of 2, right? Because we have password here, we have confirmed password here, right? So if I click this, it's taking me down. If I click here, this is taking me up. So we need to do something to make this one different from this one. So now, what do we do? So that's what we need to do right now. So now let me show you what we need to do. So we can find something else, right, here to identify it. Now, I want to see what was used here. Now, if you look here, the first one here, you're going to see type equals to password. If you look at the second one, you're going to see type equals to password. If you look at the first one here, under the placeholder attributes, you're going to see placeholder equals to password. But if you look here, you're going to see placeholder equals to confirm password. So these two are different. Then we can make use of this and also make use of this to distinguish them. So in this case, I'm going to pick placeholder equals to password. So this time around is going to be matching 1 of 1 because that's because now, so it's matching 1 of 1. That's because this one is having confirmed password, but this one doesn't. So it's going to match exactly what we want. So if I click it right now, you see that it's highlighting this particular place. So I'm going to pick it up and I'm going to say, I'll go to my Cypress and I'm going to say, put this here. Then what am I doing? I am typing. So I'm saying dot type and my password, I'm going to say password $10. All right. That's what I'm putting as my password. Now, it says I should confirm password. So to confirm a password, I'll just type this here. Now, remember the difference between the two is just the confirm that is there. So I'll put confirm here. I'll put confirm here. Now, so if we go back to our Cypress, let me run this again. Okay, something is still wrong there. Let's check.
Yeah, I think you commented.
Now, it's not a comment. Comment should not be the problem. Okay, let's just uncomment this. But I don't think that should be the problem because right now I'm accessing it directly from the test runner. I see. Okay. Yeah, it's still not the problem. I said. Okay, so let me check what is going on there.
I think it's pointing to a line.
What did you say?
Okay, I was saying I think it was pointing to a line on feet.
Let me see. Okay, let's see what the problem is actually. Okay, so I will just run it again. Can you still see my screen?
Yes, we can see us.
Yes. Okay, good. Okay. And NPX. So it's still loading. Not responding yet. Okay. NPS. Cypress. Open. So while that is going on, let's get the element for this sign up button. So for this sign up button, I'm going to say get it for me, right? So this is the button. The button is disabled, right? So I want to find something that will be unique here. Okay, let's get this first. Okay, so the button is matching 1 of 1. So I'm going to pick these up and then I go back to Cypress and I'm going to say side.get. All right. I'll paste it in just as we are doing. But this time around, what are we doing with the button? What are we doing with button actually?
Click. You are clicking.
Yes, we are clicking button. So the same way on Cypress, we are going to say dot click. But I'm not going to do click at first. Okay, let me do something. Okay, let's do click here. Dot click. Right. So this is what you do for clicking. But this is what I will do at first. I will come up here. Hmm? I'll come up here. I will paste this same line of code. I'll paste it up here. So what I'm doing here is checking whether the button is disabled. Right. So here I'm going to say, I'm going to do an assertion dot should be disabled. So what I'm asking Cypress to do is check this button, whether it is disabled the moment you log into that, the moment you access that URL, check whether it is disabled. So that's what I'm saying with that. Okay. So normally when you are writing your code, you should be putting comments. And when you want to put comments, you will put double slash like this, then you put your comment. Typing the name of the school, right? Then typing the name of class rep. So typing the email address. So you can know what exactly you are doing there. Then typing in the password. Then confirming the password. Then submitting the form. The sign up form. Okay, so these are the things we want to do. But before I click, I'm going to comment these out, right? I'm commenting these out, so I want us to see what happens here again. So it is currently running. Oh boy, that's too big. Okay, beautiful. Now, can you see what is going on? You can see that it has typed in the name of the school, type in the name of the school rep, type in the email, type in the password, right? Then this button is up, right? This button is already up. You can see that the button is active. If I clear this, you see that the button is no longer active. Now, remember we did an assertion the other time when I used does should be disabled. This is the assertion here. Expected, right? Expected is that to be disabled. Expected is that this button, this whole element should be disabled, and it was disabled. That's why it is green. Now, we can make it such that we want to check that after we have inputted everything, is it enabled, right? Because after doing that, it should be enabled, right? So you can come here and say side.get should be enabled, right? So let's see what happens. Now, can you see it? It's saying the first one we did assertion that it should be disabled. It was disabled. So the next one we did an assertion that it should be enabled. Thus, after we have imputed everything and it was what? Enabled. Now, that's how to do assertion to know whether your test case is passing or it's not passing. There's something I want you to do. I want to put another one here and say should be disabled. All right. Now, what am I actually expecting? I'm expecting it to be enabled, right? But I'm putting to be disabled. So I'm expecting it to fail. So what happens? What then happens? You see that it's failing. Hello, can you guys see my screen?
Yeah, yes.
Now, why do you think it's failing? The button is already enabled, right? But in my code, I am saying I'm expecting this button to be disabled. So if you look at it, say assert expected to be disabled. But what happened? It's actually enabled. It's not disabled. That's why you're having this issue. That's why it is failing. So now, if I uncomment this one, what happens? It's going to fail one, pass the other, I guess. Okay, it actually fails and then continue. So what should happen is the moment it fails, right? The moment it fails, there's another thing I can write here. So when it fails, you just go ahead and complete the other 9 of code. However, in this case, let's just comment this out, and then let's run it again. So it's saying it is enabled and it is enabled. So now the next thing we want to do is to submit. But before we submit, there is something we call wait. We have implicit wait and we have explicit wait. All right. So if I do this, okay, so time out. No, this is not what I want. I'm sorry. Okay, so this is what I was supposed to do actually. Just a minute. I'm supposed to have them inside curly braces and not outside. Okay. So we have what we call timeout, as you can see. Now, so if I do it this way, I can do it this way, and I also can do it this way. Side dot wait. I can do it this way. I can say 4,000. But this way is often better. Okay, let me put it time. It's not correct. So this way is often better than this, actually. All right. This makes your code look rough, immature, but this makes it better. This weight is going to just happen on these elements. All right. So now let's run it again. Let's see. Okay. That's if you want to delay, the next line of code to run. You see that it's waiting for that 4,000 to finish up. Maybe there's a particular element that will not come up on time, but you want the web page or your website to show that particular element before you click or before you make your next line of action. That's when you make use of wait. All right. So what I've done here today is practically for beginner, like the beginner of the beginner. All right. So this is not something sophisticated or something high level or something. So this is just for beginners. All right. Now, let's submit. What happens when we submit? So we are clicking on the sign up button. That's what we are trying to do right now. So we just clicked. Now you see that it's showing registering because we just clicked. Now an email has been sent to us to do confirmation of what we have just done. So for a beginner, you can just go ahead to your mail, pick the email, pick the reference number, the code that has been sent, the OTP that has been sent. Oh, sorry, I'm on Cypress. You can go and pick the OTP that has been sent and manually input it and then continue with your automation. But again, there is a way to make your Cypress um, access the mail, pick the code, and paste it by itself. There's a way to go around about that, but that's another advanced level stuff. So this is what I'm just going to show us here today. For those who are at SK Marshall, will continue with this training, and then we gradually grow into it, and then you have a better understanding of all of this over time. All right, so I think that will be the end of today's webinar session. If you have questions, this is time to ask. And also, if you have feedback, contributions, this is time to do that. Alajima, over to you.
Yeah, thank you very much, sir. What an impactful session. Thank you for an engaging and well-delivered presentation. We do not take this for granted, sir. So it's time for question and answer. If you have a question you want to ask, kindly signify. Okay, seems we have a question here. Sir, there is a particular workflow I've been trying to reason through, and I'd like to confirm if it can be automated. So let's say we have two separate URLs, one for the super admin and another for the admin. The flow involves creating admin users via the super admin URL, then logging into the admin URL with each newly created admin account to confirm that the user successfully created and can access the system. Okay.
Okay, thank you very much. What's the name of the person? Let me check. Musa, right? Okay. So yes, it's possible. So what you need to do is to set a base URL. That was what I was trying to do for you guys the other time, right? So where you set a base URL in your config.js file, and once you set that base URL, all you need to do is just to call that URL, that base URL, with the path you want to go to. So for instance, if the super admin is having a maybe when you click, for instance, let me just share my screen and show you something. So can you see my screen, guys?
Yeah, yes.
Okay. Now, so as you can see right here, if I click, this is sign up. This is sign up at the part. This is a part sign up. So this sign up, if it is not there, this is the base URL now for the whole system. For the super admin may be that if he clicks, if he has a part, he has a part called maybe super user, right? That may be his own part. Then for the normal admin, it can be admin, but there is still one URL that leads to everything. If that's the case, then it is possible, right? So what you will do is you are going to set a base URL inside your config.js file. So once that has been set in the config.js file, What you now need to do next is to assess it via the, let me just share the screen again. This is config.js, okay, as you can see right now. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, beautiful, beautiful. So you have a base URL like this. You have a base URL like this. So you come inside your test file. Instead of using this it and then wrapping visit the site, what you're just going to do after your describe block, you're going to say that site dot visit. All right. I need to find out why that is not working actually. So you are going to have this I think this is backward slash or forward slash. So you have it this way, right? So inside your test, you can call it inside this test block actually. Because if, for instance, you want to access your you are assessing the admin your first test, right? So that means you need to copy it and make it be inside this test. That is when it will run inside this test alone. Then let's assume you are trying to access in your second test, in your first test, you want to do sign up. So it will be sign up, right? So let's assume that in your second test, what you want to do is you want to log in, right? So in your second test, you are going to do it dot login to the site, right? So I will say function, then this, this, right? So you now paste this. Oh, I've forgotten that I copied all of that before. So you will now paste this in this way. You will now put, instead of sign up now, you put login. Okay. Do you get what I'm saying, Musa? Abi, is it Musa?
Yes, sir.
So that's the way to do it. So in your first test, you will do all your sign up. In your second test, it will just run login for you. So the URL still remains the same. You are just changing the path. So if you want to access admin, you are going to put forward slash what leads to admin, then super admin. Then if you want to access admin, just put forward slash what leads to the admin. So that's how to go about it practically. Any further question, please?
Okay, do we have any other question? Thank you, sir.
Prima, please go ahead.
Okay, thank you. Thanks for class. I want to find out of your experience, I believe there are other automation platforms, or should I say automation, maybe apart from Cypress. That's what I mean, of course. Someone at the beginning of the class or in the middle mentioned a particular one. So I just want to find out among the ones you've interacted with, which one you would like to recommend, and also how long do you think would take someone consistently to fully, at least to get something that you can use. I mean, get familiar with the tool and use it very well. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, so I worked with Selenium before. I worked with Cypress. I worked with Test Complete. I worked with Scandium. Which other one? I work with Catalan. So, but 3 out of those ones I mentioned now, they are low code automation tool. Cypress, I mean, Catalan is a no code automation tool. Test Complete is a low code automation tool. Scandium is a low code automation tool. Selenium is a code automation tool. Of course, you are going to write codes. Then Cypress is a code automation tool. Out of all of them, I prefer to use Cypress because Cypress is more understandable. It has large community support as well. It's relatable. It's faster. So that's why I just prefer Cypress. So and I would recommend Cypress for people because for beginner it's easy for them to catch up with Cypress. Of course, there is also Playwright. Playwright is not um or it's not Playwright has added advantage, like you can make use of it to do mobile testing, API testing as well. Of course, Cypress also does API testing. So practically for me, my experience, I prefer Cypress. So and I will recommend it for people to use. And for how long do you need to use it? If you are dedicated to it, you can go to 0 to advanced in 3 to 4 months. If you are dedicated, I mean, if you are learning every day, like every blessed day, you are following, everything that needs to be followed every day on Cypress, just every day, like 2 hours every day on Cypress. In 4 months, you will get to advanced level. I hope I've answered your question.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, sir. A big thank you to Mr. Ayodeji for an engaging and insightful session. We truly appreciate you for sharing your knowledge, experience, and practical insights on web automation for QA beginners. Your time, effort, and passion for teaching have added great value to our community, and we are grateful for the impact you've made on our participants. Thank you so much, sir. And also to our audience, thank you very much for joining today's SK Marshall Live webinar. We hope to see you next month again. Time, participation, and the questions you shared with us during this session. And we hope you find this session um, a valuable tool to your QA journey. So I will advise us all to keep practicing, keep learning, and don't hesitate to take the next steps in building your skills. So remember, learning is forever, and consistency makes the difference. So keep on learning and be consistent in what you want to learn. Once again, thank you for being part of today's webinar. So the recording of today's webinar will be posted on our YouTube channel. Ensure you connect with us on our social media platform. We are on YouTube, we are on LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook. And also, if you want to join our WhatsApp community, just you can do it to search more about us. Just click on, just type SK Marshall on Google. So you learn more about us there. Thank you very much. Thank you all. We hope to see you next month. Have a wonderful night to rest. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Nice, sir.